Oh, is it not loading? Oh, there we go. Alright. Whew. I was initially planning to stream, stream on the usual Saturday and Sunday my time, but because I think I have a family dinner on Sunday, so I might as well make up for it by streaming on my day off, which is today. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get to the gameplay. October, 8:52 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in the court. Not country, court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Good morning, Professor Hairbrain.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I never felt anything like it. It's crushing me.
I feel that every time I'm here, that gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
I think it's probably all in the mind.
Ah, yes. Well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing really to work about, really. Justice will prevail.
I'm guessing that's Herlock? Not Sholmes? Hey, Gatler.
My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here.
Yeah, it is Herlock. Hey, Zane. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here. Oh yeah, by the way, it's my day off. That's why I'm able to stream on this day. Yeah.
That was really mean, Runo. Leave me alone. At home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it? Are you? Herlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir. I am he, Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Ah, yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too. This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of the Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. A concerned snake, I seem to recall.
Oh. Yes. Oh yeah, that's the second case of the first Great Ace Attorney game, I believe. Yeah. On the Russian ship.
No, that was a speckled band. Where?
Oh, well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
Oh.
I've urgent business at Madame Duspel's.
You mean your waxwork job?
Oh, no. The waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services.
Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you?
The week's wages depends on it, as it does the safe return of the waxwork naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention.
Oh, well, never mind then. I understand.
Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Early. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of those universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand.
Is someone a little starstruck?
I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Why thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruto, a word in your ear, if you please.
What's this about?
As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible.
But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Love the VA penguin. Thank you, Magus. Yep, I do my best to practice my voice acting.
Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact, succeed? That's contradictory.
And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I have no doubt.
What's that supposed to mean?
Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo, but chin up, you can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way to the courtroom at once.
We're on our way. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case.
"23rd of October, 9:10 a.m. The Old Bailey, courtroom." In the name of Her Majesty, the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are still, We are sitting today for the public trial of public.
Oh my god.
We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Hairbrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, I'm without Tsusada-san today. Is it just my imagination, or does the air here feel even more oppressive than usual?
Sir, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odie Asmund.
Mr. Asmund was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court convicted by you, Lord Von Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
But 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Asmund met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asmund's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrained.
Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Oh, this is a new guy. What voice do I give you? Okay.
I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Oh man, this is a whole new cast of different characters, damn.
Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials, all are nothing more than performances.
Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to be hanged.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and, then settle on one? That's it, isn't it?
Oh, hey, it's the museum guard. Oh.
Wasn't like this in my day! Wasn't like this at all!
That's the police killer Automol lookalike. Again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems.
Now, as I'm sure you all are aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world, will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Von Zieks.
At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of the science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity, and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility?
Hey, Tia. Good to see that you're able to catch this stream. Because we just started the trial. And basically our client is a young scientist who is on trial for the supposed murder of one of London's most famous / infamous financiers by the name of Odie Asmund, who is also suspected to be a criminal mastermind, and that's probably where he gets like a good majority of his funds for. And our client's name is Professor Hairbrain. Or Albert Hairbrain. Yes, his last name is Hairbrain. Ace Attorney likes to have their goofy names. Yes, and we're trying to prove that his experimental device that exploded and supposedly killed Odie Asman was an accident and not a murder. Or if we can prove that it was sabotaged by a third party, that also works too, but we don't know for sure. Anyway,
Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity. My goodness, how shocking.
ah, fuck, I forgot his voice, because I did such a unique voice for this character I haven't done before. It was like,
Hold up.
oh, wait, oh my god, why did I create a voice for this character?
The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis will never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field? I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock.
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter?
The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What?
Oh my god, why did I give that guy that voice?
Order! Order!
Because it's like a mix. It's like a sort of softened version of the judge's voice that I'm giving.
So it's like this voice,
but less intense. So it's like,
oh yes, this voice. Instead of this voice.
it's like a less intense version of the judge's voice, which is something I haven't done before. So hey, props to me for experimenting with my voice.
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant will be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asman's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But
This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
okay, so I'm guessing he's going. Okay, I'm guessing. Wait, what is his argument? So I'm guessing Von Zieks is arguing that. Okay, I'm guessing Von Zieks is arguing that the motive for our client to murder, quote unquote, the victim is because the victim could easily take credit for his invention in order to claim the monetary grant for himself instead of having that grant be passed on to Albert. And so Albert, quote unquote, figured it out, quote unquote, and designed the experiment to kill him so that he would take the grant for himself, so that he wouldn't end up taking the grant from him. I'm guessing that seems to be what Von Zieks is declaring as his argument.
Thank you, Lord Von Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Oh god damn it, fucking bot in my chat. Hold on. There we go.
But now you will bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord.
The cloak's off, bitch.
Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question, and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Havrain, a scientist.
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, alright. An incredible explosion.
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim ran straight into it. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
After he had ostensibly been beamed into the Crystal Tower, aka the explosion yeeted his ass into the Crystal Tower.
As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asmund. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor, splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? The town examined the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act?
Extremely simply, my lord.
I beg your pardon.
Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry? Me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder. Plain and simple. Anyone could say that with complete certainty.
What? How can you possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
A front for murder.
Of course, when crashing to the Crystal Tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he had been clearly stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
Oh shit.
An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart?
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge.
The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No, no, and no! That couldn't be further from the truth!
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim himself stood inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window.
My word. One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution will like it entered into the court record.
Your request is granted, counsel.
And Naruhodo's just slumped over.
How's there in person, you know? I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Osmond was that group disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really.
Very well. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. By focus, I mean pressing the fuck out of every single statement. A friend for murder. Oh yeah, just in case, I need to take a look-see at one of the evidence pieces. I just need to... Okay, let me double check the autopsy report. British coroner, Connie Sith. Cause of death, hemorrhage of the wound causes to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Broken vertebra. Impact after the broken neck. Snapped neck and all. We never found out what was stuck into his chest that caused the hemorrhaging though. Could have been the glass shards, but even then, actually no. Well, we don't know how it happened. Actually, no, they said it was before he got beamed up, so ooh, that's not good. And we still don't know what the deal with this device is. I mean, it looks like a crossbow, but I'm sure it'll open up later on. Hold it! Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly, which highlights something else about this whole run business.
What's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
Ah!
After the explosion, the cage with the fellow inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair.
So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur.
Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally?
Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated even I can make a mistake.
Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it.
I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, and the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how could this have happened.
Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Aspen was wearing at the time, I suppose.
Ah! Crackling comets! The answer could have been could have been 3!
So much for safety first. 3 must be for safety third. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I had to move my car for a moment. Yep, thank you, Gatler. Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't think I had to spit it out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
2 right.
Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well.
But you're saying that's not the case.
Oh, you'll get your answers once I finish my fish and chips. If you don't keep butting in every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag.
The victim plummeted 30 feet into the glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that that is the cause of death.
Right, that's what we all thought. But it was a red area, wasn't it?
Alright. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information.
The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of the sharp object?
Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This.
Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it, Consul?
Ah! There he is! My trusted little companion, Andrew!
Andrew, of course.
Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends. Like all my tools. I'm them all, you know. We are one big happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Oh man, this guy's kinda crazy, isn't he?
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
Ah, that isn't...
It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt.
No.
And that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What? What?
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
There we go. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. Hold on. Let us examine this piece of evidence. This is blood. Mr. Asmon's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. It's a very distinctive handle. It was poking in the grill. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's definitely something that's going to be used in the future.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Huh, do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odie Asmon, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right, I saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion in kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on the stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Oh, he even says Great Scott.
Excuse me!
Like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor!
Sorry! I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body.
And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark.
Yes, that's right. Of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
But then surely you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool.
Ah,
But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see? Not one!
Ah, true. I didn't say anything like that.
well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument.
Order! Order!
Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hollow chalice to accompany my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Paddock, but I'm really not a patch on you.
No, you're not.
No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
Must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. But it wasn't. Wait, the victim was... The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. Well, we already have... Yeah. There's our contradiction. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood in the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear that he wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest.
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector?
I don't.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred. Obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Von Zieks is stumped. What?
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Naruto, don't worry.
About what?
Without delving into the details, there's no inconsistency.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage so consistent with my calculations.
Bro, you just undid my argument! Oh my god, you... Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Bro, you just fucked over your own argument. What? Oh god damn it. You just fucked over the defense. You just fucked over your own defense, Albert. What the hell?
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation.
Top 10 anime betrayals, I know, right?
Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation.
Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
Great, now I have to untangle his argument. The argument of my own client.
The inconsistency explained.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have the duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
that based on his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words,
since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged within the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency.
and therefore...
Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see.
Dude, you just fucked over your argument. Oh, god damn it.
We had to make the cage used to contain a subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrain?
Yes?
Whose side are you on here?
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My own interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nibonese friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
God damn it, I have to undo my own defendant's argument. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way.
No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem.
But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you?
No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know.
Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist?
I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know.
It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind.
You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times.
So Lord Von Zieks really did have a friend once, but I didn't notice hell freezing out. I didn't notice hell freezing over. Your hypothesis states it? So this isn't proven then?
No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But this is widely known that metals cannot be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct.
What is it about incriminating yourself that makes this man so happy?
It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made out of wood, you see.
Sorry, the birdcage?
Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage, in which Mr. Asman was placed for the kinesis.
Ah, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does seem indeed to be made out of timber of some sort.
Thank you. Do not refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship.
In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on stage if it was made of metal, correct?
Yes, that's it. Yes, it is. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah, indeed, sir.
Someone beam me out of this nightmare.
Hold it!
You seem to be pleased by that.
Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased?
No.
I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Asman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that.
No, you're quite right.
Tell the court, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Asmund?
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I'd only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis and the project. And the research required, of course.
Hold it!
How did you come to know Mr. Asman in the first place?
A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work.
That's a scientific journal? Good gracious. I should need new spectacles.
I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time, I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny little glass. But Mr. Asman read the paper and came to visit me in my tiny little laboratory.
And offered you money to help fund your work.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Asman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us, produced that fantastic machine together?
The machine that brought you to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate.
We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Asman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe him everything.
When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you were involved in its construction?
Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer.
Little remains of your creation now, though. Following the explosion, repair will no doubt be impossible.
Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. When Mr. Asman and I toiled over that machine for so long, we put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair, because what happened was an accident.
That's the extent of the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. It's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Yeah, so the argument we must present is that his hypothesis could very well be in the wrong. You still don't really know much about this contraption. I guess it'll probably be revealed later on, I guess. Oh. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Yeah, it's a crossbow. Oh shit. Yeah, so it is a crossbow. Alright. This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right. It's a sort of bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Ugh, I really had no idea what was I picking up when I first spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Okay, well we got a crossbow. I'm ready to examine this piece of evidence. It was found under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds. No shot here. Is there any piece of metal on him? I mean, we could argue the button or even the glasses actually. Because that looks to be made out of metal. Yeah, minus the lenses, of course, but yeah, the metallic parts of his glasses. And what else is he wearing that could be made out of metal? Okay, those straps are the strap holders are made out of wood, but what about this? Is this also made out of wood? It looks like it's made out of wood, but it looks like his glasses aren't made out of non-metallic material, aside from the lenses, but And it's a very distinct handle. cannot transport metal. Yeah, that's our argument. Yeah, so... hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. I don't think we present the stab wound to the chest. I guess we present this? Because it shows he's wearing... because it shows that part of his glasses is made out of metal, so... because that does not look wooden at all compared to these bits here. So yeah, I guess we just present this photo then? Come on. Time of death. Okay. Canvas-like material. Back to the was found on the experimentation stage. The exhibit grounds. Yeah, it was on the floor. Very distinctive handle. Well, looks like it's entirely made out of metal. But what about his glasses, though? Because if the glasses were made out of metal, then how the hell would it have, well, beamed with him? Okay. Just double checking. Would have stayed put. I think I present here.
Objection!
Yeah, there we go. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask to have you look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I would like you to pay attention to the victim's face. Yeah. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No! Metal can't. That's not... metal? No!
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Ah!
Order! 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 Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was a proof of all of my work.
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's the fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel and a boulder and a fraud.
I say that the wreckage of a machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No! Never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act!
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Well, I gotta be right back, so I'll think over that over Alright, I'm back. Whew. What's the best way to help the professor? I've thought over it, and... I mean, I'm still on the fence about this. Because they want to have his they want his machine to be examined, and because of the act that's in place, man. Wait and see. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself was the murder weapon, I think you'll find that it won't apply.
Of course it was a murder weapon! Anyone can see that! It's plain as day! So we're all in agreement, are we? That the machine should be stripped.
If I don't do something, they'll... Objection! Okay, no, I'll end up objecting. Professor Harebrine has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so...
Even so what?
Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
Yeah. The government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible. He and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year.
Oh, I could have lived handsome on that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists argue with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No! I haven't deceived anyone! Least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barak!
And therefore, the only person who could have possibly committed this murder is the accused.
Barak.
Where is this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Von Zeeks.
The prosecution would like to summon a new witness to the stand.
New witnesses. What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses?
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from the eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. The accused killer, the financier victim, there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear.
There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now. during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Oh, to be continued. Oh, damn. That was... Huh. It's surprisingly short for the first bit of the trial. Yeah, I think we just continue for a bit.
23rd of October, 10:44 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber.
Mr. Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start!
Sorry about that.
But you promised me! You said you proved that that dreadful explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me!
Yes, I did make you a promise. You're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete.
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject, what about Barak? He's being awful.
Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? And he's not classified as a Homo sapiens anymore?
Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you?
Yes. What?
The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved?
I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please.
It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant.
A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible.
So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Well, as a from a lawyer standpoint, his innocence.
23rd of October, 11 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
As is the defense, my lord.
Sir, Lord Von Zieks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed, they did. As luck would have it, one of them is a police detective, so the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Perfect. A detective of all people.
The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound, and consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
What voice do I give you? I'll just give a nasally voice.
My name is Balthasar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in the vicinity of the experimental stage.
Oh wait, no. Oh wait, does he have an Italian voice? I am the impresario of all the hot balloons in the vicinity of the experimental stage. Okay, this is clearly German.
My name is Wilhelm Goldstreet Sigismund Ornstein. I've come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
Or a Slavic accent. Or a Slavic accent, at least.
I'm very rich.
Inspector Dina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Sheena, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low. Well, they can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet. About 18 meters then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who have had the vantage point above the stage.
The view from 60 feet up. It was an incident, terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang from in the skies beside us. Huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang from in the sky beside us. Oh, probably the Crystal Tower.
And from amid this smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone, and it crashed into the Crystal Tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cages, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Oh my god, as I have to bounce between 3 different accents at once, oh my god.
A most extraordinary collective amount, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions?
More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage. At a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The bird cage appeared at the site of the explosions, subsequently to plummet down into the Crystal Tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. I still have lots of money.
Yes, we can tell.
Precisely. Who is this curious infant?
I am told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Sir, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everyone says so.
Great disguise, then.
The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely that despite ending an explosion, the instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Asman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
Sisi, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. They were very popular, you. Some people would pay £10 for one ride.
£10?
That's more than my annual stipend.
£20 a month, that is my pocket money.
Girls have all the luck. I got out there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know? Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons though?
Because if I have too many in disguise, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, and the zone above the public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me.
Thank you, witnesses. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for the balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Rat, I can feel you in there, my lord.
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yup. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Aldo, being a lawyer is a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together.
You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think?
Everything. We saw everything, because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbed onto the cage, and that dodgy professor pulled all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that.
Huh. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky.
That's Peter.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ?
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Gottfried.
Wait, hold on.
Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Olmstein.
Just the 4 names then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps?
Oi, get it right, Aldo. It's Inspector Lestrade.
Why does everyone have a problem with how I addressed him at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh?
Yeah, there was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure. Which is what I said in it. 1 minute there was nothing there, and there was a massive, and the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you're rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
A green balloon?
Eh? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed.
Playing the bleeding loyalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony, in the interest of the cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
So wait, that could explain what that green bit was. It's probably this. Okay, let's get more information on this. A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I'm sure. I am a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical.
Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madai!
I will have the army come and shoot all your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Taste. Your Highness.
If only all international incidents were so easily resolved.
Now that peaceful relations have been restored in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Lune?
Mr. Lune or Lune?
No, I did not see the explosion myself. However,
Did you see that actually happen?
no. In reality, I did not. I saw it after they hit the tower. There was a grande confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed.
I suppose they are his livelihood.
But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there.
I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now.
Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
That's what I like to hear.
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away?
Eh? Use your head, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, wasn't I?
Right.
So cause I weren't available, it was all the boss who had to lay it over there. It was getting short and kicked all by the panicking spectators, and he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing.
Poor Inspector Gregson.
So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits.
Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Oops. Oh, no, that's not right at all. That last statement would seem to be also... Oh, okay, no, it's not. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to present something else. Yeah, okay. It was hidden beneath a tree under the experimentation state, yeah. So, okay. That my balloons were not damaged. There's not. Yeah, because this was an amended statement, so. And we've already pressed it, so. Yeah. But he said it wasn't one of his balloons. No one went near it after it crashed into the tower. He needs to. Okay, we need to figure out what people saw at the time. Maybe I contradict with this? Because there was only two balloons in the sky. Yeah, because... Okay, I'm guessing that's the contradiction, because they confirmed they were in this balloon, but there is no balloon over there, so I don't know what he was talking about.
Objection!
No? No. Okay, that's not it. No. Okay, what do I... where's the contradiction then? It fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. But no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. But no one went near it after the crash of the tower. Okay, hold on. Because I already pressed all the statements for their information, so... Yeah, so he said none of his balloons were damaged. Okay. It was a green balloon. The cage fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. No one went into it. So I need to prove that it might have been a switch around trick or something. It fell from the sky like a stone and into the crystal tower. I am actually stumped on where to go from here. I'm like, what the fuck? It fell to the sky like a stone and crashed to the crystal tower. I have no idea how to go about this one. This is a switcheroo trick? Crash with the crystal tower. I am stumped about how this is going, so I'll switch to story mode for now. What?
Objection!
Oh. Oh, we present that? Oh, so we're saying that... Okay, so we're saying that his balloons did get damaged. Okay. Mr. Lune, in your testimony, You said that all three of your balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged.
See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is.
Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric in the envelope.
Sorry, the envelope.
Pardon, that is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from the thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip open while you are in the sky.
Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode on that day.
Yeah.
If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Lune, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence.
No! If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone knows someone was killed.
Oh no, having just spent the whole £10 for the experience, how awful.
It seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage. The point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently possible.
An unfortunate traffic accident as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept!
Why not, Mr. Lune?
You are suggesting that I am a liar! That person's died in the balloon incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Lune. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthasar Lune is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible. Possible.
You're saying it's impossible? Why?
This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Aye!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Lune.
I concur. There's clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you'll give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord.
Mr. Lune's balloons.
As I said, Balthasar Lune is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe!
But you can't get away from the fact that the burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The corpus at the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
This stupido Ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons had the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war or not war.
And argument resolved. What happened to all out war? Mr. Lune certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend.
The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe?
Senor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
All-out war avoided via money. Who could have imagined? Yeah. Yeah, that kid's rich. He's a Bohemian prince. Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent out for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End's kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bolted and said he'd have to go himself in that case. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Lune, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky?
Are you an idiota?
Sorry?
That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And the balloon flies because it flies. What else?
That must be Italian for I don't know.
There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, lighter than air but highly explosive.
Good lord.
I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not light fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All of that comes out of your mouth is explosione. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof.
Alright, so Mr. Lune had 3 balloons in the air that day, and none of them were damaged. Then what was the one that exploded? I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better. Dive into people's pockets instead. For more information, look up Hindenburg. Oh yeah. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Core, listen to you. You're stumbling across a balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some sculpture on the ground after we at the meeting we had about the investigation. There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the cubs who were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that.
It seems there was a great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of evidence of an envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions.
Like me swiping all these fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure.
None of this matters. That scrap or balloon envelope means nothing. Niente.
Criminal investigations in this area would give the CSI series a run for their money. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, because these investigations tend to go by a lot more quickly than they would IRL, considering IRL investigations tend to take way longer, so yeah. My balloons. Hold it! Okay. You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that the green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you would agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
Si, exactamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from...
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Master Goss?
It's Master William Godfrey Sigismund Holmstein.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Sir, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all of Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why did you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious!
What?
I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. So I took lots of photographs.
Oh, well, there's our evidence.
Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the eel cellar, the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a balloon riding. But all I wanted was a balloon riding the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon.
Oh shit. Oh? And something being shot at the balloon.
Well, I see you're all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Sir, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the super person who made the camera. Wah! Wah!
That is one very Bohemian sounding cry.
Wah! Wah!
Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
Technicolor not even once. Yeah, you don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means This photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you picked up. As I thought, Mr. Lune's testimony doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon, but Mr. Lune vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Yeah, let's check the photo. Yeah, Velocity of riding the balloon shows another balloon and claimed that William's screen and moments after he took the shot. And exploded moments after he took a shot. Yeah, so this was taken right before the second explosion. And we can see something being shot directly at the balloon, which I presume would be the crossbow that is in our evidence bag right here. So, I reckon it was probably some debris from the explosion on the stage. So let me double check the history. Colors be damned. Yeah, I don't know about photography, but I feel like being able to catch a flying projectile on a photo like that is impressive. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how the old-fashioned cameras work, because I assume that given how old the design is, it probably has some sort of delay behind it before the big old flash. Okay.
Objection!
Nope, that's not it. Okay. Man, this trial is really having. This trial really is Yeah, this trial is fucking difficult. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. This one didn't have any passengers.
Objection!
There we go, that's the contradiction. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us that the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important.
What?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing, Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are legal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lune's patch without him realizing.
See, the competition, trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimental that was wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. So then them scraps fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. The stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue traitor. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard a testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Really? Have we got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's more.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue?
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. So tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Ja, that's right, Ja. It was not my fault.
Evidently, because the bird cage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see, and what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is this projectile.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there is a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that?
Undeniably,
Fuck, I forgot his voice.
Undeniably. Some flash of light, yes.
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
but it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire hitting straight for the balloon, like an arrow.
Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence?
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Which evidence explains that this mysterious streak of flame that appears to have been headed directly for the balloon?
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately?
Blimey, you're right. That streak of light on the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then the explosion of the balloon was very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No.
Order! Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there is an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge, of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah. If someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a panic.
But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, Muddy Buddy's friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from a cloud of smoke that ensued...
What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me!
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Yeah. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out on that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Sholmes and I said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in my case, and in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. But the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place. How do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception.
Juror number 3?
All that will be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asmund, and having this other man appear on stage to the front of the show as a body double.
Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asmund must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4?
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio?
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable, but not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
I'm being backed up by the jurors. Hey. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all a part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that the instantaneous kinesis had occurred. No one would have dared to do that. Those folks were fortunately too early for Jackass. Indeed, my friend, indeed.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asmund, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with.
No.
In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on the stage in full view the entire time.
No.
This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Von Zies can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Oh no. Oh no. He's going to screw this up.
Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor?
But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
Sorry?
What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained?
I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. O.D. Asmund. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver.
What? What are you doing? Damn, this guy is so delusional that he's willing to confess to a crime he did not commit just so his hypothesis for his instantaneous kinesis device to be valid. Oh my god, this guy is so delusional. He is so delusional that he wants to maintain the fact, he's trying to maintain that his hypothesis is indeed true and that his instantaneous kinesis machine worked by confessing to a murder he did not commit. Oh my god.
Order! 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 Defendant, explain this sudden confession.
Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about?
It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis, and I'm a precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you had to examine that machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it will be all over. My beautiful hypothesis will be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it.
Later that day, Bill Nye himself would go and slap Harebrained on the back of his head. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you just let me, I can prove—
Barrick!
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, ensure this special dispensation for scientific equipment act is adhered to and protect my creation.
You're not actually gonna do this, are you? Clearly, you're not blind to the truth.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the special dispensation for the scientific equipment acting that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis is preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on the stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but seeing him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Mr. Naruhodo!
There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... We stick to the truth, baby. That's the running theme of Ace Attorney. Ugh. No, I can't say it. My client places faith in me. I can't just let him down.
What must I give up on? Is not the question you have to ask yourself.
Oh wait, no, I think that's not. Wait, is that Kazuma? Wait, no, I don't think that's not Herlock.
What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect?
Oh no, that's Susato. Never mind. Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. For as silly as the cases get, sometimes I love when they bring in serious choices like these. Yup. Susato-san? But what are you? My first Susato takedown in 6 months! It'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I had to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebrain.
Yes?
Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too.
Yes, of course.
And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. No heartwarming reunion is complete without your bestie suplexing you to clear your mind. I think that was more like a judo throw than a suplex. Actually, wait, is judo Japanese? Hold on, let me... Oh shit, no, okay. It's judo. Oh yeah, it is Japanese. Okay. Hold on, I accidentally clicked out. Okay, there we go. That's my bit.
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Bardock,
Lord von Zeeks.
gosh, I never heard him speak that way before.
How did you get back here so quickly? You're all the way in Japan, unless you secretly went on a trip back to the UK without my knowing, which I guess is possible.
In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance.
What?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like?
Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me too. A monocle. A rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man, you see. I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What?
He built the machine?
That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Enoch?
Trevor?
Trevor? Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this is the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turned out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experiences of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
Well, we found our suspect, guys. And it's not my client. Let's go.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion?
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that the machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. But at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, then a working deception, then everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, all my life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
I announced my invention to the crowds that day. It was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Trevor had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
You know, man, probably should have focused on a project that didn't involve teleportation.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Von Zieks,
My lord,
the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
I insist on my point about instant teleportation already existing at the time in the form of catapults. Ah yes, truly a work of advanced creation.
23rd of October, 1:36 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry.
They take you from point A to point B near instantly and just as gracefully. Well, I guess it depends on how the individual was positioned in the catapult. Otherwise, it would be really awkward if they were like spinning a lot like Sonic the Hedgehog when he's in his ball rolling form. Except not as gracefully. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing.
Naturally, that machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had a complete faith in it.
Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me.
Also, when did you get back? I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Runo, so it'll be a surprise.
God damn it, Iris!
Well, did it work?
I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
What? You wanting to judo throw me to the ground? Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future.
Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial.
I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh?
having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you. Back in London.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Nadahodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Migotoba not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait.
Susato breaks into the courtroom through the window and proceeds to dropkick Ryu. That's my headcanon now. Yeah, that's... that possibility could very well be canon. Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued? Yeah. The case isn't over yet, Snake. Alright, and I'd say, yep, with the time allotted we have, I shall end it here. And, well, I could definitely say that that trial was kind of the hardest out of all the cases so far in Great Ace Attorney 2. Because I was really struggling to find that one particular statement that I had to contradict with evidence. Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and farewell for now until the next stream, which is tomorrow, which will also be Ace Attorney, so we'll be continuing from there. And see what other twists and turns are there in the very game itself. And we'll probably get to see some funny breakdown animations in court, probably. And I do wonder what kind of voice I'll be giving this, this con artist. Fucking Drebber. Oh yeah, we shall see. Farewell for now.